Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Cons of Tarkir Fate Reforged draft. Why does this pack have a Windswept Heath in it? There must be, so you get rare chance of opening double rare packs. Did I just not know this? I guess I just didn't know this. Well, Colagan is definitely better than Windswept Heath, but I've got to get a value on Windswept Heath because these are Swiss drafts. Well, it's worth around 3 tickets. I guess I'll just take the better card. All right, so we'll take the Dash Dragon. As much as I want 3 tickets, because I really do want 3 tickets, we'll just take the powerful card that kind of forces us into Mardu. Whoa, what's Teamer War Shaman do? I should probably know what this guy does. When he enters battlefield, manifests. So at least 6 mana for 6 power, 7 toughness on the board. And whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, you may have it. What? This guy seems awesome. Why would someone pass that card? There's Bathe in Dragonfire. Major glaring issues with taking Teamer War Shaman are that it doesn't fit in the same. It basically makes me play a weird 3-color combination, or it makes me splash one of Colagan's colors and play base green. So I guess I'm more likely to do that. I think I want to take this guy. Look at this guy. This guy seems way good. So we're going to take the Teamer War Shaman, however you want to say it. Amazing on color. Of course, amazing on color removal in there too. Isn't that how it always works? I can't ever tell if I'm at the right convert mana cost location. I feel like I'm one to the left still, but now there's a Destructor Dragon. So rare to get green flyers. And we already have the dragon to combo with it, so why not, huh? What are we passing though, I guess? Since we could still technically be Sultai Splash Red or Teamer Splash Black. Both of those are actually realistic options. But one thing is definitely true. We're going to splash one of Colagan's colors, I'm pretty sure. But I kind of want this Destructor Dragon. And we're really not giving up that much for it. A Bloodfell Caves, which would help for our Colagan Splash. Or a Feral Krushak, which is just a nice beater. But let's slam this Destructor Dragon. Green Dragon's one of my fave ones. Definitely. Okay, so now, geez, Channel Harm too. How could I never realize this card's an uncommon? I thought for sure this card was a rare. It seems really good. I played with it once, and it was really good. We could go Cash Defenses, which is good. Maybe I just want the Bloodfell Caves here. I probably want the Caves. There's good cards in here, but I've got 3 extremely solid starting picks. So taking the Caves just sort of... Although Grim Contest is also insane with all 3 cards we have. Yeah, that's pretty good too. Grim Contest is one of my favorite removal spells. I changed my mind. I think we're going to start with base green-black and see what we do from there. Okay, so Jungle Hollow now, or what? A Frontier Mastodon? I think it's an easy hollow. Mastodon's a good card, especially considering all 3 of our first picks are ferocious activators. But that's all right. We'll take the hollow. I mean, Teamer would have, well, kind of, I guess, stop being a direction I can go since I took the Grim Contest. But Grim Contest is just so good in this deck already. Let's take the Jungle Hollow. I'm fine with that. I feel comfortable taking that over a pretty good 3-drop. Okay, so Noxious Dragon. Do we just build dragons.deck? You know I want to. Noxious Dragon's a pretty good one too. Pretty color intensive, I will admit. Maybe we go just green-black deck and then splash red. I watched a Reed Duke draft video where he really talked about why that's a bad idea. And the main reason that it's a bad idea is that there's just so many good 3-color cards that there's not a real reason to do that. But But God, can you imagine having multiple dragons out? Or having a dragon out and then dash? I gotta take Noxious Dragon here. Otherwise, it's Feral Krushak, which is an actual good card. But maybe I just get it here. More likely, I just take the Grim Contest now. And I think what we're going to try and do now is probably just get a bunch of Archer's Parapets and Kintree Invocations out of the next couple packs if we can. Because Archer's Parapet with Grim Contest is just going to be bonkers. Feral Krushak's got good too, but let's prioritize this removal spell pretty high here. Map the Waste, I think, is actually good for our deck. Battlefront Krushak's good too. But I think I'd prefer to look at our curve is ridiculous already. So I think I kind of need this Map the Waste, which I'm fine with. Sib-Sig Mug Draggers just go more expensive. It's a Sultai card. Could take the Whisk Away. Could take the Right into Being. Let's take the Whisk Away, which is a fine removal spell, possibly putting me in Sultai. But we have no Delve currently. But I think Whisk Away is, of these cards, probably the best for us since it's a removal spell. Alright, Frontier Mastodon just seems correct since we've got all of these 4-power guys. So I think that's right. Doesn't work that well with Grim Contest, unfortunately, but it's alright. Still, 3 mana, 3/2 seems like something this deck wants. Okay, Feral Krushak here seems fine. There's a Sultai Rune Mark too, but we'll take this. Oh wait, I am over too far. So yes, we're a top-heavy deck, but Map the Waste is already looking like it's going to do some overtime work in this deck, especially since we have the I presume, Red Splash. We have an excellent start, though. I am very happy with the start of this already. All right, Will the Naga seems like is like the best card, but it seems difficult to play in this deck. We're already way too color intensive, so I think we're going to take the Return to the Earth, which I don't like in the main deck, but I think is a fine card in general. All right, Leash's Vanguard, not an exciting pick, but fits the curve nicely and works, I guess, reasonably well with Grim Contest. Works the same as a fight card would work with Grim Contest. All right, Ancestral Vengeance, like it more as a sideboard card. And Cruelty, not really into that card. So, good start. We got at least an on-color fixer. We have 3 dragons, which is kind of exciting since we got one of the rare ones that actually works well with it. What's the pick here? Well, Sandstep Citadel gives us some good options and helps our mana base. Icefeather Aven is technically on color, especially if we splash blue and red. Kind of tough choice. We have 11 picks. Icefeather Aven is a very strong card. Certainly worthy of a splash, I would say. This just fixes for our black and green, which are our base 2 colors. Icefeather Aven's one of those cards, though, that you really like to have, especially in this format where... But, I mean, like I said, we're looking color intensive already. I'd prefer to keep blue at an absolute minimum. Seek the Horizon probably tables too, so that's actually might be good enough for our deck. I'm taking the greedy pick here in Icefeather Aven. It's certainly greedy. I'm not even going to begin to deny that, but I just really do like this card tremendously. All right, Parapet does fit in exactly what we're doing with the Double Grim Contest, and it just fills a curve roll. Otherwise, Bloodfell Caves. And yes, I have been getting some flack about passing up lands. That's okay. I guess I just don't necessarily agree with how highly you should pick these. I watch some of the pros. I see them. They pick higher than I do, I think, a lot of the time, which is okay. I'm going to take Archer's Parapet here because it just really does fit our deck really perfectly at this moment. All right. This is a fixer I'm more interested in. There is a Savage Punch, which I do think is very good for us. But we're looking like we're a little bit slower for that, and Savage Punch at least, doesn't work as well as Grim Contest does with Archer's Parapet. Frontier Bivouac at least fixes for blue, so we can at least move into Sultai, or attempt to move into Sultai, and it fixes for red, which is what we need for Kolaghan. So Frontier Bivouac is actually just a very good land for our deck, I think. Okay, I guess Mystic Monastery does double duty of fixing for both the blue and red in our deck, but Rugged Highlands also fixes for one of our main colors in red, which is nice. And we don't know yet exactly how deep blue we want to be. Temur Charger is a pretty solid pick too, but it doesn't work very well at all with Grim Contests, which we have a couple of, so I'd like to make better in this deck. I'd probably just take the Monastery. Gives us a blue and red fixer, so we can run less of both of those colors. Like, we already have 2 red fixers already for our Kolaghan, which is pretty nice actually. Not giving up anything too crazy. I do like Bitter Revelation quite a bit, but don't have any Delve currently. Here's another Parapet, which I think I'm just going to slam here. It's exactly what I wanted, and if we get a Kintree Invocation, this deck gets way better too. But this just really strikes me as a Parapet deck, since we have got such a good late game. We really need a good early game. And with the double Grim Contest, it's just going to be really good removal. So let's take the Parapet here. Okay, another Monastery. There's a Dragon Scale Boon, but I'm just going to take Monastery number 2, actually. I'm content with that. So now we have 3 red, which already means no mountains necessary in this deck, which is just fantastic. Could take the Smoke Teller. I think it's pretty easy. Thornwood Falls. And now at this point, we've got enough blue fixing where I'm completely comfortable being Sultai Splash Red. Here's a good Temur card. Little bit concerned about that, since we do have some black color intensive stuff. But I guess our only black cards are Grim Contests and Noxious Dragon, like in Vanguard, which isn't even that good. Let's take the Bear's Companion. Maybe we even shift into more of a Temur Splash Black, which I'm also okay with. We're not really giving up much of anything here. Could take the Weave Fate, but since we already have such a high top end, I think that's less necessary. Bear's Companion is certainly the best card there. We did get the Seek the Horizon. I might actually want this card. I don't think it's that good, but in a deck that's presumably running 4 colors, we probably want it. There's also a Rakshasa, Vizier, or however you pronounce it, but we don't have any Delve, which makes that just a hard to cast 4/4, which I don't like. So I'm going to take the Seek the Horizon pretty happily there. All right, Trap Essence Wield, certainly a good card. Not giving up that much for it. Maybe a Naturalize for sideboard, but all right, take the Trap Essence. I think we're just going to move straight up into Temur at this point. And Temur Splash Black, which, like I said, I'm okay with. That makes Alicia's Vanguard a lot worse on the splash, I think. Noxious Dragon's going to be difficult to cast, so that might not happen. I think I'm just taking Warden of the Eye here because it's the best card, and I've already got a couple ways to get white, oddly enough. But I'd prefer to not do 5 color, but we might actually do 5 color. Glacial Stalker is significantly better than Archer, so I'm going to take that. So I think we're aiming for maybe, yeah, we might actually need that. Maybe we aim for base green, blue, splash, black, splash, red, which might be okay. This is definitely not your run-of-the-mill deck, but it's got a lot of goodies in it. All right, Flying Crane Technique is a good card. I don't really like it in this deck at all. It's one of those cards that late game, it just wins you the game, which is absolutely true. But I don't particularly like it in this deck. Crippling Chill, typically a better tempo card. And, I mean, Wind Scout is a good card. I don't really like it for this deck. I may just want the Swiftwater Cliffs. We're 3 cards from an actual deck already. And we look like a deck that's got a mana base that's going to need some work. So we could just take the Swiftwater Cliffs. Like I said, we're basically blue-green, splash red, splash black. So I'm going to take the Cliffs here, I think, and be fine with that. Okay, so options now are probably Misfire Weaver, just because it's hexproof is nice to have, and it's a morph card, so it's easy to play. Yeah, I'm probably okay with that. I like Misfire Weaver. Gives us another flyer too. Yeah, not really giving up much of anything for it. I think we probably would prefer to be out of white territory. There is Master Pearls here, which is quite strong, but I don't think that's likely to make the cut. Could take the Thornwood Falls here, more green-blue fixing, which I think is fine. Abomination of Gadul is on color and presumably playable, but I may just want the Thornwood Falls. I mean, we could branch out into 5-color. And there is an Alpine Grizzly, which is good with the Frontier Mastodon. And just a card I've come to like quite a bit, actually. But not good with the Grim Contest, that's for sure. Let's take the Thornwood Falls, I think. I think we're going to find cards on the wheel that I want, so I really don't mind taking this fixing. We can take the Hooting Mandrills. We can actually take the Force away, which is just a nice card to have. I feel like our in-game finishers are kind of already there. 3 of our creatures, though, are creatures that can't attack, which is something to keep in mind. Mandrill seems kind of difficult to play efficiently in this deck. We just don't have a lot of... I guess, Map the Waste works well with it. Does double duty of ramping towards it, but... probably just want the Force away, I think. Good ways to get Ferocious, too. Okay. There's a Throttle, which is good removal. Which I guess we're a little bit low on, but that's okay. Let's take the Force away. I think I'm fine with that. Jeskai Charm. Sultai Flare seems like pretty much exactly what we want in this deck. Fits our curve perfectly. Blocks up the board. There's a Jungle Hollow, which admittedly would be good too, but I think we're going to minimize black in this deck at this point with just 4 cards. I think we're probably cutting the Noxious Dragon, sadly. I would like the Jungle Hollow too, but I think Sultai Flare might just be too good for this deck to pass up. With Crew Shock, Kolagon, Bear's Companion, Temur War Shaman, Destructor Dragon. Yeah, I think we want the Flare. And Double Archer's Parapet. How could I forget the Double Parapet? Yeah, Flare is just absolutely bonkers in this deck already. Okay, so choices now are Riverwheel Aerialist, which I don't mind because we're cutting the Noxious Dragon and we actually have a couple ways to ramp and fix already. It's not bad. I actually love Riverwheel Aerialists. I think I like it more than Hooting Mandrills, but maybe someone... See, Mandrills is potentially cheaper, which is a good argument for it. By the way, they're both fantastic in this deck. Grim Contest makes this fight for 6, which is just huge. I think I might have to give the edge to Riverwheel Aerialist because we already have 2 ramp spells and the fact that it has flying. I think I like more than the trample. I could probably get away with a banner pretty easily in this deck considering our top end, but that's okay. Snowhorn Rider's just a great card. We're not going to play any white spells, so I don't need the Blossoming Sands. And technically I can play Winter Flame in here, but I like minimizing red in this deck as well. And Snowhorn Rider, well, I mean, I could do the Mystic instead. I kind of like the idea of... I think Rider's actually better for our deck. Because of Grim Contests and Sultai Flare and our ramp, I'd prefer to have the Snowhorn Rider. It's going to work way better with our removal and other synergistic creatures. I actually think this deck really wants this Highland game, but it kind of wants the Dismal Backwater too. Because keep in mind, we're running a 4-color deck here. Highland Game is a fantastic early game spell. I really do like Highland Game a lot. It's just great to have against the aggressive decks. I'm still going to take the Dismal Backwater, I think. I like it. We have a lot of into the battlefield tapped lands, which could be an issue, but I guess I'll take the Kin Tree Warden, but I'm hoping that it isn't an issue, I guess. All right, Master of the Way is just too fantastic to pass up here. I love this card. And considering we're actually an expensive deck, I think it's fine. So we really have to just look for a cut, which, considering how good our mana base is, I think I'm going to cut to Seek the Horizon. We already have Map the Waste and Embodiment, so I think that should pan out fine. Naturalize is a good card to have for sideboard. Guess Bondkin is more likely to make the deck. Smoke Teller is actually a fine pickup. It's something I can board into. And we did get the banner. You know, I may actually play Teamer Banner in this deck. I need to think about that one. I guess Teamer Banner and Map the Waste serve a pretty similar function. And maybe actually the banner's better than the Map the Waste for our deck, since it fixes for all the relevant colors. They both fix and ramp. Map the Waste can bolster, but bolster doesn't actually look very important in our deck. I could play 17 lands with Embodiment, Teamer Banner, and Map the Waste. 3 ramp spells, 17 lands, 4 color. Let's see how color intensive our deck is. We definitely need a lot of green and blue, which was intentional. We need black for our Grim Contests, and we have a fair amount of red. I really like this deck, by the way. I think it is very intriguing and has a lot of powerful plays. It's debatable how many sources I want. I mean, our mana base, I've got like such a fantastic mana base to work with. Admittedly, a ton of enter the battlefield tapped lands, but well, I don't know if it's going to be an issue or not. I guess if 50% of our mana base is into the battlefield tapped, that could be a pretty major issue. Could be off to a pretty slow start most of the time, but that's difficult. I mean, when your 4-color fixing is usually pretty awesome. So we have a couple black fixer lands. We have plenty of blue already. I think everything but the Jungle Hollow fixes for blue, which is pretty awesome. We also have, what, 3? We have 4 red fixers, 3 green fixers, 4 green fixers, 7 blue fixers. So it's like, that's going to make Embodiment more difficult to play too. I'm debating actually cutting the Embodiment and just running 18 lands. I think I'd almost prefer to do that. Now that I see that our blue is like 2 morphs, or basically a lot of morphs. I think I like the Trap Essence in here, by the way. Yeah, basically green is the most important aspect of our deck. And I think 18 lands with Map the Waste is going to be enough to make this, in our mana base, should be enough to make this work fairly reliably. So focus on green, blue, and then we need black for 3 spells and red for 4 spells. So, and we have the banner too. Is that going to be a problem, I guess? I feel like with such a top end that we have, it shouldn't be. Our card draw is very non-existent, practically non-existent, but we've got removal in what? Force Away, Whisk Away, Ice Feather Haven, Grim Contest, Trap Essence, Master of the Way. A lot of removal. And I guess Master of the Way is a little bit of card advantage. I think with all the top end we have, I'm actually fine running 18 lands, Map the Waste, Teamer Banner. Even though that could be an issue, but I think I'm willing to take that risk. Banners actually and Map the Waste are kind of important in this deck. Hitting our 5 and 6 drops reliably on turn 4 and 5 is pretty huge. I think that's going to be a big leg up for us. If all goes our way, of course. Let's get our mana base in there that we have already, because we have a lot of lands that fix. So Let's do a quick count once again. I believe we have 4 green mana already. We have 7 blue. So 4 green, 7 blue. Which means I think we're actually good on blue. I don't even think I need to run an island. Maybe 1, but we'll see if I need it. We have 4 red, which means I probably just need to run 1 mountain. 1 mountain and how many swamps? Maybe for 4 black spells, or was it 3 black spells? 3 black spells. And I've already got 2 fixers. I probably get away with 1 swamp plus Mapped Away, so it's like 4 sources for 3 spells. Although I do want to reliably cast green. Maybe it's 2 swamps. Let's take a look here. So this would be 8 blue, 8 green. I don't need that many mountains. This would be 9 green, 5 red, 4 black, 8 blue. Is that right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. And 7, 8. Debating going up to 5 black. Now I know you're wondering why would I do that, but maybe you're right. It's mostly because excuse me. I'm sorry. It's mostly because I want to cast Grim Contest on turn 3 after a parapet. But I mean, I don't have to, but it is nice. I probably can get away with 4 though, especially with the Mapped Aways. And being able to map the ways for an island is kind of nice if I'm missing blue and I kind of need it. But only having 4 sources of black, do I think that's going to be a problem? I actually don't know. For 3 spells, it's more like I feel like I can afford to go to 5 black, but I don't know if I should, because I don't want to see too many black. So I think the major issue is we have color-intensive spells that don't require black. So why don't we keep it at 4 black, 8 blue, 9 green, 5 red. I think that's adequate. I think this is a mana base that I can get behind. I like the deck. Very fun-looking deck. It really is a fun-looking deck. And will it do good? I don't know. I really don't know. We have good, powerful finishers. We have a good early game setup. Sultai Flare is like just so important for this deck. With all of these high toughness dudes we have a lot of good, we've got Ramp Element, which I think is pretty important for this deck. We're running 18 lands, which could cause us to flood out, but I like, if you look at the sheer quantity of fat we have, it's pretty good. Snowhorn Rider, Stalker, Bear's Companion, Kolagon, Cruise Shock, Aerialist, Destructor Dragon. We have like, what is that, 7 or 8 just straight up fat creatures. I think it's 8. We have 8 just fatties in here. That's like close to a fourth of our deck is just fat. So I think we should be able to get away with 18 lands, 2 ramp. But we shall see. So I'm going to run it like this. Fun looking deck, very unusual. I don't draft decks like this very often. So I'm excited to see how it does. And we'll see you round 1.